This is Justin, and this is I think it's my fourth actual video for 42 a million. I haven't made a video in a little bit. It's probably been like 7 months. The last video you saw, I was at the house that we moved to in Raleigh, North Carolina, that we moved to after we left Michigan. That was a rental home we were in, so we stayed there a little bit. We wanted to get out and get a permanent place to stay. We do have a permanent place to stay. We're in the country now, outside of Raleigh, and that house we were in, it was big, way bigger than we needed, but we wanted to downsize our life, like we talked about at the very earlier videos. We're able to downsize quite a bit. The house we bought, it's actually a manufactured home out in the country. It's not on any acreage or anything. It's on 7/10 of an acre. So it's a decent, nice sized lot. It's a manufactured home in a regular kind of a subdivision. No association, any of that stuff, so we don't have to deal with all that crap. So you can see out behind me, it's farm fields behind us, which is pretty cool. So kind of part of what we were doing, I mentioned earlier, my wife runs a business. We needed to get a place that she could run her business out of, and I can do the things that I want to do. I like to do some woodworking, things of that nature. So we kind of have a place where we can do those types of things. So I have myself a garage, kind of a work area garage here. Inside it's all set up so I can do my woodworking, my art kind of stuff that I like to do. That's part of one of the things I'll talk about, or I'll show you some stuff of what I'm doing or going to do in the future to make money. Just extra things on the side that I enjoy doing, that I'm going to try and sell, make a website for, all that stuff. Over there, what you see behind me, that's a garage with a second story. We got that, which is really nice because the second story's got a bathroom, whole living area. It's probably 600, maybe a little less square foot of living area. The lower side is just all open. My wife's running her business out of that, so it's got a heating thing in there, and we're going to put a kitchenette in there as well on the lower level so she can do her business. And then one day in the future, that's going to be part of what we're going to do, is renting this out when we're living on our own somewhere else, and this will be kind of a secondary income that's doing something for us while we don't do anything really. And then behind us, back there, that's our house. It's just a little, I think it's 1,600 square foot, double, I guess you'd call it double wide, manufactured home. So it's a nice spot, nice in the country, nice and private. Got the birds floating around, all that kind of stuff. So this is what we're doing. This house costed us about $10,000 less than our house that we had when we lived in White Lake, Michigan. That house on the lake. This house is about $10,000 less than that, what we paid for it. And when we sold our old house in White Lake, we had quite a decent amount of equity in it anyways, probably 115 grand in equity. So we were able to pay off more than half of this right away. And then we're still deciding what we want to do as far as this house, for paying it off right away, maybe getting a rental somewhere else, and try to start renting something else out to people, let someone else pay that off for us, and start doing something like that. But we're trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do. We're not sure yet, because we definitely don't have all the answers. So what I wanted to do with this video real quick is kind of talk a little bit about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I think I talked about that in the other videos anyways, but I do want to retire at 55, 56, who knows, maybe 57 years old, and live off of my investments. And part of them investments would be, that rental back there that I talked about, maybe even this house while we live in another spot. Maybe we'll live in the spot and that we're renting out, that we get somewhere else later on. So we'll see how we end up doing it. Why is I am tired of the rat race. I'm a design engineer. Most of my career has been design in the automotive field. It's a rough field. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to be able to afford to make memories though. Um, and I don't necessarily want to sacrifice my future for the present. I don't want to just spend all my life just having a ball right now, having all sorts of toys and this and that. And then in the future, I can't even afford to retire and I'm just working till I'm dead. I want to enjoy my future. I want to work harder now, assuming I'll still be alive later. Most likely I will be, so I'm not going to live like I'm going to be dead tomorrow. That's just, I have a good balance. We make a lot of memories right now. We go on vacations. We have a lot of fun. But I definitely don't want to sacrifice my future for the present. So back to the automotive design engineer. I'm applications engineer now, and kind of moving my way into project management. I went back to school a few years back, got my MBA, and so I'm kind of moving into that in my area right now, which is nice because it's a little more secure than the job field I was in. So for instance, the job market's always swinging in the automotive, especially in the Detroit area. It's stressful, and I just don't like to have to worry about that. I'm a little bit high strung, and I need to have a plan. And so I can't just go without a plan the way a lot of people do, willy-nilly, get through life, don't worry about it. I worry a lot less about things nowadays, but I used to worry more. That's more of the talking to my wife, a lot of things biblically. If you're a Christian, you read the Bible about worry. You really shouldn't have to worry about a lot of things. And I worried too much about things, and that kind of made me work, no fun at all. And so I realized I needed to change that, and I feel a lot better, a lot more secure now that I live a little bit, just not too much. So I found a good balance. My wife's helped me do that as well. So I do have a plan. I believe in making a plan for where you want to be, working towards it. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, at least you're working towards that plan, So that's kind of what I like to do, is just have a plan and work towards it. I feel good if I'm checking check marks off a list of goals that I have. That's just my personality type. So I like to get things done, have a list of things to do, and finish those things up. But like with my job career, one of the reasons it was a little bit stressful is back in 2000, I worked for a company when I first started after school, my original school when I was younger, like 20 years old. And they had a massive layoff, like within the first 2 years of while I was working there. And so, you see all these guys with 25 years experience getting laid off. Everybody's crying. It was terrible. And I was like, this kind of sucks, And I mean, it's business. Businesses need to make money. So you got to do what you got to do. But it just didn't feel like we were doing that bad. But I guess we were in hindsight. So I moved off to Wisconsin, got a job out there. I didn't like it there. I was homesick. I came back home to Michigan. So my job was supposed to hire me in direct. I was there a couple years. They promised me a direct position. It was like 2.5 years. But they had massive layoffs. And they said, we're not hiring anybody in. Luckily, on the massive layoffs at any of these places, I didn't get laid off. I was lucky enough to stay on each time, which is great. But after that job, I went to another job, like one of the third largest suppliers in the world at the time, maybe the second. Massive layoffs, multiple times. Made it through them layoffs. Again, luckily. That's when I decided to start going back to school and broaden my career outside of just the design field. So I took another job designing electric vehicle battery packs. That was great. We had a bunch of government money that we wasted. So it was good for like 3 years. And that was a really cool place to work. I would have stayed there forever, but they filed bankruptcy because there wasn't really a market for that stuff at the time. And they offered me a position but I just didn't feel secure having a family, so I left there as well. Then the company I'm at now, that I came out to Raleigh for, they decided to shut down. And again, it's just so up and down. Luckily, I've made it through all of these. I thank God for that. Layoffs and shutdowns and bankruptcies, but it's really stressful. So that's caused me to be really conservative and with money as well, and try to think of other ways to make sure I'm taken care of, my family's taken care of, because it's just an uneasy feeling when you work in this field, and that's caused me as well to not live above my means. I've worked with a lot of guys who've lost a lot of their material possessions because they They have a huge, you know, $300,000-$400,000 home. They got their properties, their four-wheelers, their boats, everything's brand new. Their expensive cars, their travel trailers, big vacations, and it's everything's brand new. Everything costs a lot of money. You know, they're mortgage poor, credit card poor. That's fine. I mean, if people can do that, my mentality doesn't allow me to do that. So I want to talk about, you know, I just wanted to let everybody know kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing, all of that kind of thing. You know, you can't tell people how to make money. If you could, everybody would be rich. But it's kind of a mindset or a feeling. You know, you got to put in the effort of whatever you do, even if you're not have like an awesome kick butt high paying job. If you don't live way above your means, and you live below your means, especially, and you stock a little bit away, you still have a little bit of fun. There's ways of getting yourself a better future, a little more secure future. I mean, you can't guarantee it. Even I can't guarantee it. I got a bunch of crap put away in the stock market, 401ks, this and that. All that stuff could tank, and I could lose my entire life savings, and then I can't retire at 55. So, maybe I got to work until I'm 90. Who knows if I make it to 90. So that's kind of the whole thing. But, I live as if things are going to be okay. I live as if I'm not going to be dead tomorrow. And I try to have fun along the way. So that's the whole deal. I want to get out of the rat race and, retire with a little bit, let my investments take care of me a little bit earlier. And we'll totally downsize at that point. It'll be like living off of 30, 40 grand a year. And maybe I'll work like a side gig wherever I'm at part-time, or my hobbies can make me a little money at that time, So luckily I have a wife who's cool with kind of living a very minimal lifestyle. Like, we have decent things, but she's cool with living minimal. She grew up in Poland, even through some communism. So she definitely gets what it's like not to have a lot, and she appreciates what we have as well. So I'll talk about next video when we started, what we did along the way. And I talked about some of that in one of the previous videos as well. But I'll talk about how I plan doing it and a bunch of other stuff in some future videos as well. So that's video number 4. Hope you guys come back, see some more, and leave any comments for me. Like to hear from you guys, see what your thoughts are on life and things. And this isn't all how to do it exactly. It's a little bit philosophical and just my thoughts and feelings, if anybody gives a crap to listen. All right, thanks for listening. This is 40 to a million, signing out. See ya.